welcome in everyone. Another Divergent Dice D&D evening, this time with the Darkwind crowd. We are short one Haruto and one Kish tonight. Spencer will be in momentarily to helm Laurelin. So he's going to miss the recap, so he is ruined. But thankfully, we have the people here who take the best notes. Over to you, Lucas.
Yeah, so when we started out, we leveled to 12th, and then
Yeah. Okay. So,
I'm telling you, you either get
Can
canon with
confirm
Shannon or
in my
you
notes
get
too.
lies with Lucas.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
you get.
all right. Well,
Lies.
that tracks. We'll do Canada with Shannon instead then.
Oh, I was ready to jump into character mancer. Okay. All right. So we had arrived at the Citadel in the Feywild, and we had heard a major cracking sound as we entered, which Laurelin ascertained was from magic. We stealth inside and start heading towards, heading down maze-like hallways. Pretty early on, Sky casted detect magic, and we realize we're in an illusion, and we break out of it. We made our way towards the large noise and found a bunch of crucible bodies in the main hall. Emmy tries to disengage the trap by the door, and we luckily don't turn into a pile of ashes. The group manages to get the door only partially opened, and Laurelin throws Zoggy through uh, and gets a whispered room description. We break the door open and find Emmy's dad and friends engaged in battle with several centaurs. The centaur leader, Apoddon, is on the other side of the room with a large item breaking open. We take out the centaurs pretty quick, followed by Apoddon. Sky tries to grab the opening orb and finds out that it's, I know this part was weird, but maybe Talia, something like that, who is thinking that if the Fae can't be hers or Bermalthazar's, then she'll take it down with her. A dwarf sorcerer girl appears in the room corner, and we have concerns about that. Laurelin knocks her unconscious. We found that damaging the orb made it shrink and made it look more stable, while healing it did the opposite. Laurelin did something cool by casting lightning on herself to. I used himself, and I'm like, pronouns. To strike the unconscious girl, and Grawl did the same. Emmy's dad then kills that girl. The orb then turns into a tiny object, like a greenish brown crystal ball. And immediately after her death, Emmy and Falcus say that the girl Stella was their friend. Grawl then casts Revivify and brings her back. Emmy takes her spellbook just in case. Uh, the orb was the dying wish of somebody who deserved better. No, cat. Um, it likely can't be destroyed. Emmy asks Laurelin to review the spell book for corruption. Falcus suggests reconvening in an hour, and we can start figuring out what to do next from here. Ha.
As an aside,
Epic.
I definitely don't metagame, but if we would have like had the last finders before we had, or the last consequences before we had this, I don't know if I would have done that revivify. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, right?
All right. So, um, yeah. So you guys, I think Sky, you had like when you grabbed this orb, you know, the part that you defined as like weird. Um, you did definitely get some like Talea kind of like latent, you know, if it can't be ours, then no one will get it vibes from this thing. Um, almost like this like imprint of, you know, desperation and like hopelessness, um that really like rang through when you grabbed it. um the uh dwarf girl identified as Stala was just brought back from the dead by Grawl. uh you could see it was a very like moving moment for Emmy and Felkus, who clearly didn't want to kill her. Um, the other Crucible are just kind of starting to get assembled and sorted. Also, that's really good. just to make things easier, if we do have combat tonight, Lucas, you get Haruto, Stacy will get Gish, just to simplify life.
Hi, Spencer.
It's a Spetty. Let's get your face in here.
Also, Zagi assumed the throne.
Yeah, Zoggy is now ruler of the Fae according to positioning on this map.
As it should be.
Absolutely correct.
Right?
All right, so this that soft kind of like moving moment with like Felkus and Emmy kind of like knelt over Stala like is like fleeting. It's like few seconds go by after Stala's like breathing again. Felkus just like looks at her. I'm sorry. It had to be done. And she gives him just this kind of like knowing like look. And then he's like up all business, starts, marshaling the troops, those reinforcements that were outside, shouting orders. You see Caro and Rowan, you know, trying to tend to people, get people on their feet if they were injured, explaining what's going on. Felkus is kind of like walking out of the room, he's like, we'll debrief here after I secure the rest of the Citadel. There might still be a few left. And you see, I'm not going to remove all the tokens just for the sake of ease, but you see like the Crucible members like clear out. The only one who's still there, Stala, as she's not, up for Citadel clearing currently.
How's everyone doing? Nobody dying?
Yeah, Laurelin is past bloodied. You're past bloodied.
Fairly self-inflicted, I might add.
Yeah. Yeah.
Emmy and Kish are like dinged.
Mhm. Grawl looks great. Majestic, even. You see Stala kind of like force herself into like a sitting position, kind of like leaned against this like back corner. Good to see you, Em.
You too. What happened?
I was doing some digging. Just research, really, into what happened with Talea. It never seemed to really add up to me, and well, that led me to investigate. Yeah, that's it. And she kind of like points over there to the ground where that like little orb is still like kind of just lying where Sky ultimately dropped it. That. And shortly after I started digging, the Dryads came to pay me a visit. I didn't think anything of it too much, but after that, it's all kind of like a blur. I don't remember a lot of the specifics, but I remember working with them. There is
With the Dryads?
yeah, and the Centaur. They were planning this for a long time.
But you couldn't, like, you didn't choose to?
No, I didn't want it. I think they turned me or something.
Hey, that happened to Laurelin. She tried to kill all of us.
I think I did.
That
Oh,
would-
that was me.
too.
Can't if I forget.
Well,
I get it.
I think I.
Do you? That's too
Princess
high.
made some good points.
I'm glad you're okay.
I'm glad you're okay. You said you know what that orb is, though?
Kinda.
Kinda.
Talea seemed like after Brumalthazar died and after some Lillian figure evaded her. You remember her. It's
I
not
do remember her.
it's not like the one when we were kids though.
What do you mean it's not like the one when we were kids?
Well, see, I think there's different ones. Remember they were. You told me though the Lillians. There's more than one.
I said what now?
Yeah, remember the people that came to get her, and they had that whole crazy story about how.
Oh, yeah, the future her, and then there's the same her
Yeah.
that we. Yes, you're right. I remember now.
Yeah. So, I mean,
That was weird.
Talea lost it after she pursued the one that she blamed for Brumalthazar. But I guess her final trap, I guess, she tried to entice Lillian to take her and then wanted to sacrifice herself. But Lillian saw through it, and so Talea died for nothing, becoming that which she was going to.
So that's what happened.
Roll me a insight check.
Okay. Great start. Great start, team. Yeah.
I'll roll because it's kind of middle ground. Yeah, you get the sense that she's like not telling you something, but
Okay.
it you know her pretty well. You don't get the sense that she's like trying to hide it from you, like out of malice.
Okay.
So Talea died a monster, but it sounds like
Okay.
everyone here wanted to remember the hero, so that's what people let be known. She sacrificed herself trying to save everything.
So the orb is her essence?
It's her. It's as if she was able to manifest all of her grief, all of her woe, and crystallize it into that artifact. And if it goes, everything connected to her goes with it.
So it's a bomb of emotion.
It would it would, if it was fully charged when it went off, everything she'd ever been involved in would be gone. Which is not great if you're here.
Suspect not. So what do we do with it?
There was... She knew that making it would draw attention of others that would probably try and stop her. So she worked on it in secret in what she called her retreat. It sounds like it's some pocket dimension or something.
We just toss it back in that pocket dimension then.
Yeah.
I think
Yeet.
I think that
Yeet.
I think that's probably worth pursuing. I don't think it should be here, certainly. This is the worst place for it to be.
How do we find this pocket dimension? Any
I
thoughts?
have a dimension door.
Grawl checks his pants.
For the retreat, for Talia's retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got pockets.
It's pretty sweet.
Oh,
So-
I'd have to go with it.
Well, and dimension door misleading. It's
Yeah.
like just a badass teleport spell, not
It's like big misty step.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is
It's-
very misleading.
Yeah. It lies. It like straight up lies. Um
Oh, it's essentially like
Yeah.
a portal. Like you just step through it and in a different
You
place
actually
you
don't
can
have
be
to
Yeah.
step.
really
That's the
far away.
thing.
Yeah.
that's the really
that's-
cool thing.
And you
We
can
found
bring
that out.
people with you.
Yeah, we learned in the last one shot when Trevor and I were trying to kill each other that you actually don't need to move.
Oh, that's how you ended up in the mountain.
Yeah.
Got
You don't have
it.
to step.
No.
Yeah, so it's a poorly named spell for sure. It's like chill touch with a range.
None
Yeah.
of you have any spells that are actual dimension spells, right?
Check
None of you should.
fives.
And that's gonna be a
You
no.
don't know me.
Yeah.
A no from me.
Zoggy,
like-
Zoggy
like-
just
like-
dump it in the abyss or something.
Like on nature and stuff.
The abyss
Yeah.
was sucky.
Stall,
This is a one-way trip, buddy.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Stalla like looks at you, Emmy, and is like, "This is your new group." Like,
Yeah, why
Oh,
are we taking directions from the girl who's just trying to blow this place up?
well, she said that
I
she.
mean, that she said she's
There
good
was-
now.
I mean, I believe her.
Wow.
She said that it wasn't her. She said it wasn't her. She didn't mean to. She didn't want to.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry if I hurt any of you.
See,
You didn't.
she feels bad.
I mean, logically speaking, it wasn't really my fault, but like,
You guys,
I'm
you guys- you
I'm
guys see
apologizing.
you guys see all the wounds on Haruto start healing.
I
Can I check
Oh.
this girl's spell book for
Oh yeah.
useful magic?
yeah.
Neat.
Emmy has
I'm
it.
just gonna be doing that while this
I-
discussion's going
I- May have given it to Laurelin already.
Yep.
on.
I think you
claim
did.
it. Just my
Uh,
trophy.
Spenny, I'll send this to you
Nice.
on Messenger just because it's easier for me to paste it there.
Oh boy. Fancy info.
Hell yeah.
Maybe there's something good in there that'll get us to a different pocket dimension.
I mean, technically, rope trick gets you to a pocket dimension.
That's true.
Um,
Sorry, what? Rope trick?
yeah.
It's a
Rope
spell.
trick.
Or
Stall-
rope trick.
It's
Stalla,
a baller spell.
Stalla
But
looks
none
at
of us have.
looks at you, Laurelin, like flipping through the spell book. It's fine for you to hang on to that, sure. But I
And
think
you and keep.
I have a way of doing it. That wherever I was before here, I remember seeing runes and sigils. It looked like it might be some kind of teleportation ritual.
What do you mean wherever you were before here? Like the room through that door?
No, wherever I've been staying. It's been a long time.
Were you with a cult?
It sounds like she was in a cult for sure.
Yeah.
No, we are on a mission together, and then we
You're not
just
helping
got
her cause.
separated.
Well, Emmy, you're basically in a cult, so like I don't know about your judgment on this either.
It's not a cult. Gosh dang it!
Ooh, Eric.
Yay!
Eric.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
How's it going?
There you go. I'm not playing Haruto. Touchdown.
There you go.
So I've good and bad news.
Oh,
Oh
Uh-huh.
no! What happened?
I'm playing Haruto. Touchdown.
yeah. So yeah, sorry. I do have my flight simulator this evening.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd drop by and say hello. And can I give you a quick D&D story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So my sim partner is, I think, in his 50s,
Mhm.
and he's quite religious, which is cool. And then I ended up saying blessed for one reason or another, and then he's like, "Oh, I can tell you're kind of religious as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't have used that word." And I'm like, hashtag
no.
blessed.
Yeah.
So I
Nailed it.
went along with it and was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And not that I really kind of came from D&D vocabulary, but
That's great.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
That's
nice.
funny. I love it.
That's really good.
Yeah. Next time he
Yeah,
says
so-
anything, just say hashtag polymorph and see how it goes.
Polymorph.
I see you're into polymorphing. Good.
Hashtag couch.
That guy is a good judge of character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so sorry I'm slimy, but I thought I'd say hi.
No, appreciate you popping in. No worries. Hope you have a good simulation and have a good night, buddy.
Okay,
Nice to hear from
thanks.
you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care.
All right, you're back to Haruto.
Playing Haruto. Yay.
But yeah, so I was like, after and that night where you left, I stayed, kept working, and that was when the Dryads, I think, might have figured out what we were up to.
Got it. Okay. So we need to figure out where you were.
I'm sure it's in the Citadel somewhere.
Where this pocket dimension is. And
I think
then what? How do we get back?
I think you should be able to open a portal.
Who's opening the portal?
I think I
don't
can.
do what you do, so
I think I can open it.
Oh. Okay.
It shouldn't take you guys long to go through and leave the artifact, I guess.
Okay.
Hey,
What do you
how are
guys think?
Hold on. How are you opening this portal? Because I'm looking at the spells you got here, and I don't think you can do that. How are you
I
doing
don't-
This?
You're right. I don't know the magic myself, but
And it also seems above your pay grade.
you know what? I'm sure it actually is. The Crucible pays okay at best. The ritual though looks like it's already been completed. It just needs to be activated. I'm sure you could open it if you felt so inclined. But I think it's, from my reading and what I remember, I think it's probably like a one way, like only one destination, not like go somewhere else.
Oh, so it's like a back and forth thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
suspect- I
that
suspect
all
she-
makes sense.
she
Insight
used it.
check.
Sure, go for it.
Damn it.
13.
What I did
She
too.
she seems like sincere. Like you think that it's definitely possible that there could be like a, a bridge basically between 2 points. That only go to those 2 points and just need to basically the door just needs to be opened.
Is she looking shifty at all? Like she's gonna trap us there or some shit? That's what
No,
I'm concerned
it
about.
it you
Okay.
get like no iffy vibes from her. I'd say like with a 13, it's high enough to see that she's not like being deceptive at all. You don't get any like heebie-jeebies from her.
Okay. Okay.
Well, maybe we can search the grounds while Lord Quickstrike does his thing.
Yeah, I think he just wants us back here in, what did he say, an hour? He'll be back in an hour?
Sure. Sure we
Okay.
can.
That apply to us?
Yeah, he wanted to do whatever. What did he say? Debriefing?
I don't work for that fucking guy.
Let's explore for an hour. Maybe we'll find some cool stuff. Maybe we'll find some fun books.
Okay.
Stella like struggles to her feet. It's like, oh. Well, mark that off the bucket list. Dying.
Yeah, I remember what that feels like.
What? Sorry, what? Did you die?
Did Amy die?
Yep.
No, yeah.
When did
I've
you
been
Sure did.
been knocked down a few times. Weird. It was like I came back and then got knocked down again. It was weird.
Yeah.
But they're
It's
never
been a
going to keep you
while, though.
down.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. We tub thumped her hard the other day.
Mm.
Hard.
The JC crew had other plans.
So you guys
You'll
kind
be
of
fine. Shake it off. Walk it off.
you guys kind of start assembling out of the room. You see at one point in the courtyard that as you kind of make your way back out, that strange illusory maze that you guys made your way through quite effectively. You see several crucible wizards and casters dispelling that illusion, and you see what looks like a much more normal courtyard. There's some pillars and columns and, some furniture and, decorative statues, but nothing like the maze structure that you guys saw when you first walked in. You see quite a few crucible were still inside the illusion as you watch kind of that, those walls almost like melt away. It's like Felkus starts like snapping orders and people start, assembling up. You see the odd, dryad or centaur, just like quickly dispatched by now, like the overwhelming numbers of the crucible as they kind of finish clearing the citadel. Stella leads you upstairs, which I mean you would be familiar with, where all like the rooms really are. There's not much on the main floor. She's like, I think there weren't any windows, so it's probably at like the end of a hall.
Are you looking for the portal to the side realm? Or
Yeah,
for the opening?
the ritual room. I think, yeah, maybe. And you see her like just start kind of like walking down like one of the halls.
Wait, hold.
What?
You
Yeah.
can't just go walking around. Place is still like trapped and stuff.
Okay. What? I think lead on then. Sorry, it's been a day.
You okay?
I mean, I've been here. Seems like forever now, and I don't remember the last chunk of it. It's weird.
Can I insight that? She doesn't remember anything.
Alarm, 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 alarm.
You can insight her again.
Okay.
This is a clone. This is like a clone person.
Like, how do you not remember anything? Nothing? What?
She looks at you. She's like, "Yeah, I mean, it's all a blur. The last thing I remember clearly was that night you left. I just have like, I don't know, flashes of the last, I don't know, however long it was.
You don't
Seems
have
pretty
any
honest.
urges to kill us, right?
No, thankfully not. I think in my current state, though, a strong breeze could knock me over.
Okay. You said the room you're looking for is this way? I'll like point down the hall.
I think so. One of the like interior rooms. I don't remember any windows.
Which one of us grabbed the like orb thing? Did anybody or did we leave it?
I would
I hope
definitely
we.
take that.
I was just about to say, I hope we retcon that we grabbed it.
I will
I'm
have
just-
grabbed it.
Started moving my
Yeah.
token across the screen to grab it.
So I'm just okay.
Okay, so Sky has it or Laurelyn has it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sky has it. Okay. So
I'll just mentally confirm with the three. So, like Sky's got it, right?
okay. So
we're good.
What's wrong with
You-
your friend?
So
This is
you
a
see like Stala like open up a few doors. They're like larger doors on like the kind of interior, not the outer wall of the citadel. One looks like it's more of just like a workshop, like carpentry and like masonry workshop. She's like, no, that's not it. Another one looks like it's more like a servant's quarters. No. And she's like, yes. And you see her start to like sprint down the hall.
Sprinting away from it. I'm almost Terry Stasis-ing her. This is sketchy.
Okay. It's a con save.
Yeah.
I think she's fine.
She is fine.
Yeah.
I
You're like,
second her name.
wait, as she just like keeps booking it down the hall. You
She's
see
not
her.
as fast as me, so I'm gonna run and catch up to her and be like, whoa, what's the head? What are you doing?
I will also chase after them.
Okay. You
I
see
just
like.
told you to settle.
Sorry. I remembered how to get there,
You just said you
Or-
didn't remember anything.
and it just came back to me.
Or one that could be blown over in a stiff breeze. You seem to be as fast as a stiff breeze.
I use
What?
these little legs for something. I only have 2 of them. I have to move them real fast.
Can we tie her up?
You see her
broke-
kind of like skid to a stop at this, like, there's still lots of hallway in front of her. She kind of like skids to a stop at like the side, and there's this section of wall. It's just got like one of those kind of like hallway counters on it with just like a few vases, some decorations. And she's like, it's right around the gnome. You've got my book. Can you detect magic?
That's Captain Gnome to you.
Captain, I
And
mean, fantastic. I'm glad to
no,
see
I
that you've.
cannot because I don't have it prepared.
I investigate the wall first to make sure there's no like traps or something
Sure.
that could
Go,
turn us to ash.
I'll help. I'll help.
go ahead and roll investigation, either both of you or Sky with advantage. Okay. Sky, you like check this over, and as you're like looking for like traps, hoping you don't get turned into a pile of ash, because that would be frustrating.
Yeah.
You notice that there's a very faint like seam like in the wall, that you think like would be almost imperceptible to anyone, but you're on the ball today, and like huh.
I think I see part of the entrance here. See this little seam here?
Yes, exactly. I mean, good eye. Normally I had to use magic to find that, but uh, do you mind? And she's like pointing to this vase with 3 flowers in it behind you.
Do I smash it?
No, that's quite all right. Just arrange the flowers. Was it shortest and longest, or longest to short? Just
Will you
try.
do it?
Okay, thank you. And you see her like start to like pull out the like flowers, and like almost like they are like adjusting, like they're actually like fixed. And you see her kind of like arrange them from like tallest to shortest in this like vase, uh, almost as if they were like fixed in place, not free standing in the vase. And you hear a click, and you
Turn
see
to
the
Demi.
what?
Let's turn to Demi and ask, did you tell your dad you're doing this, by the way?
Nope.
Okay, so the person who just tried to bomb this place is just running the show now?
No. I mean, we all kind of agreed to follow her, but we can stop.
I know, but okay. Listen, I don't work for him. I'm just like, is he gonna be mad at you?
No.
This doesn't seem like the kind of thing you feel like you should. Okay. Weird relationship. I dig it.
Stella like looks at you, Laurelyn. It's like he's usually mad at her. She's a terrible listener. Good friend, terrible listener.
This guy will use his quarterstaff to just nudge the door open.
Yeah, as
Somewhere
the
you
door
hear like Fair Spirit being like, yeah.
as the door kind of slides open, it reveals this like tiny room, maybe no more than like 10 feet by 10 feet, with arcane sigils like all over the walls, floors, ceiling. It looks like it's someone just like carved out a 10-foot square room.
Laurelyn, do you want to take a look to make sure that this is the right place?
Is it the right place? Do I see your runes?
Oh yeah, like they're visible on the walls.
Can I Arcana to see if it like makes sense for
Sure.
what she's described?
Go for it.
Ba-ding.
Yeah, 20,
Nice.
24. It takes you a little bit like looking over them. You're not familiar with these like particular runes. And they look old, like really old. But after a while, you like have pieced together that these definitely seem to do with transportation, and not on a like singular plane. It's not like a teleportation circle that takes you from like one spot on the material plane to somewhere far away. This seems like it will take you to some other plane or dimension. And you get the sense that the destination is fixed based on these things. This only goes one place.
At 24, do I get a sense of the destination or not?
You get a sense At the destination.
First brought to you by Chaos and Confusion.
It's our usual games.
This
Right?
feels like a bad series of decisions we're making.
I mean, we could have said no. Like at any point, we could have been like, we'll just wait. You know, we'll just hang
I'm
out.
wondering, why aren't we just waiting to see? Cool.
I mean, I asked. You guys wanted to explore.
I was reading the book. I don't know.
This isn't exploring. This is a single-minded purpose. They're
I
different
mean-
things.
I mean, we went exploring in search of a specific thing.
Dwarf, where did you say this goes?
I mean, I've never been through it, but it sounded like Talea had found some realm or secret place to work without fear of people finding out or stopping her. She was close with a group of adventurers back then towards the end, and she didn't trust them to let her do what needed to be done.
Trust them either. It's fine.
Okay, well. I don't know. What do you guys think? Seems like it goes to some place called the Void. Well, plane I've heard of.
We're not
Might make
all going
sense.
through, right? We could just
We're
send.
just opening this and
Stella
hooking it
to
through.
I mean, we don't know what's over there.
Right?
We could just, I don't want to like throw it in and then it like go into the hands of someone who's gonna like explode it.
I
Why
kind
are
of
we-
don't want to
why
walk
are
through
we-
the door and be sent to somewhere called the Void.
Why
Do
are we
we-
putting it in? Are we hiding it in here? Was that the thing?
I think we decided we didn't want it here.
Right?
So we were told it needed to be contained.
Right.
Question: why don't we just talk to my dad about it and see what he says
Wow, that's a great idea.
before we like?
Almost wish
You
I
know.
thought of that.
Well, now that we know where it is and where it goes, and now we can be like, we don't have all these unknowns. We can provide answers, right? Like when he starts asking us what we plan to do with it and where we think it should go, and like all things, we'd be like, yeah, look, there's this place. It'll go with this to, yeah.
He does like answers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he
And when
might
it-
have issues with this plan.
Oh, he's had. This is as plans go. This is. I mean, he just invaded the Fey realm to uncoo a coup.
That makes sense to
Your
me, though.
dad in the CIA, Emmy.
Kind of like the Secret Service, sort of.
Don't like-
Like, sort of.
Anyway,
They are
yeah.
a Secret Service.
I mean, I like the idea of maybe making more of a plan before we huck this nuke in a hole to a place we don't know.
Sure.
Because your
I
traitor
I
friend
would
said
adv-
we
I
should
would
do it.
advise against throwing it anywhere. The whole thing is you don't want it to break. Just
I don't trust
putting the-
anything you say.
quit. Okay.
The Emmy treatment.
Well,
She's
I mean,
She's just like
I'll
that.
go
She's just like that. You'll get used to it.
Felkus should be back soon. We can go and chat with him if you'd
Felkus. Call him by his first name now?
like. Lord Quickstrike. She's you're like, I'm like, sorry.
Okay.
People call him Lord.
That's what he is. It's
What's
like
he
a
Lord?
commander of sorts. He is the lord of this area, district divisions.
Anyway, Sky is closing the
Section.
door and starting to walk back.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
All right. So you guys make your way back down ultimately to the throne room. Falcus is assembled there with a number of Crucible troops. You see, judging by the count, you suspect they probably lost like maybe 20% of the people that went through. And some of the ones that are even gathered here are injured, varying levels of severity. He like sees you guys enter. Find anything interesting? Saw you off exploring a portal.
Or beginnings of a portal. Goes to the void. We're gonna chuck this thing in it. Same Sky has.
Maybe. We will. Maybe.
Add me one.
Undecided. That's not true.
Kind of true.
I did not want to just chuck it in there. I was concerned about chucking it in there.
Did you have a question to the Baxi?
No, I'm just holding up the orb.
Please be careful with that.
Yep.
You acquitted yourselves well here today. I heard that you dealt with the Dryads yourself before arriving here.
Sure did.
Apparently they can be quite persuasive.
It's very charming.
I am not sure that charming is the word.
We had it covered.
We handled it.
Yeah, they weren't that special. It's fine.
Hey, don't talk about the princess like that.
She's kidding. She's kidding.
What do you want to do with this orb? What are we supposed to do with this thing?
It can't remain in the Fae. And
Do you want to take it back to the material?
I'm reluctant, as secure as we like to think our facilities are. Something like this in the wrong hands, the devastation would be immense. Selfishly, I am more attached to the material plane than here. Somewhere where, even if it is activated, there will be...
So do you support this void realm idea?
I don't know much of a void realm, but it sounds less populated than the Fae and certainly the material plane. What do you know about this void realm? So I was like, oh, this is where I think she made it. She worked on it in secret so that people wouldn't stop her. Quite smart, actually. If you're trying to make a weapon of mass destruction, to work on it where people can't stop you, can't prevent you from doing it. I mean, kind of like we just did now. Like, imagine if she was working on it here and we invaded then and took over. Like, it would have been the end of her project, and she wouldn't have had the. She would. I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thanks.
I wonder if I
For
was
the info.
talking when they were like controlling me, or if I just didn't talk. Maybe that's why I want to talk so much right now.
No, I'm pretty sure you talked.
Probably.
Yeah.
I only do
That's
it when I get
okay.
excited about something and want to learn something, and there's always something to learn. So it happens quite often.
Mhm.
Falcus, does this chatty know like all your secrets?
You see, like
So loose and Falcus.
Falcus, like look at you, Sky. Even I don't know all our secrets. That's why they're secrets.
Well, just assume that anything she knows is compromised.
Thankfully,
Shade.
the mission that they were on and the length of time that they were on it, much of the intelligence that they had is no longer valid.
True. We were here for like 6 years, 7 years. A long time. Really long time. We were like, it's our first mission, technically. So we didn't really know much. Didn't really tell kids much.
Not a kid anymore.
Just sent a couple kids to the Fey realm for 6 years.
Sounds like boarding school.
I mean, okay, that's like,
They weren't kids.
no.
They were teenagers, and they are quite capable.
First mission involved her getting captured and her getting yeeted into another world.
No, that's the old timeline.
What?
That's the old time. This one, I left because the new elected Fey leader, like that whole election process had happened, and the Naga leader had been chosen, and so like my job was done. We had
Where-
done our
wait,
part
where
of
did we
like.
meet you then?
The meeting still happened in a similar way. You still left the same way.
Oh,
Like,
that's right. Because I left during the coup when they started killing
Yeah, yeah.
off the elected party.
you met
so
the
that I
exact
could
same
get
way.
out. Yeah, so that I could get out and deliver the message.
Yep.
Timeline things. Yeah.
I support any plan where that artifact never sees the light of day again.
Any plan? No, I didn't ask. It's thanks. Cool, great. Done. We'll figure it out.
Sweet. This is our bomb now.
We need to try
Don't
and
ask questions.
restore order here, though. There is no one to sit upon the throne. And get that weasel out of here.
What, Zoggy?
You will address the sovereign with respect.
Zoggy stays with us.
Zoggy's great. Look how cute he is.
He'll look more cute with a dagger between his eyes.
No,
You wouldn't stop him, you know.
not being so grumpy. He's awesome.
Rodents.
He's not a rodent.
I mean, well,
He just looks like one.
that's true, actually. She's right.
He's a demon, not a rodent.
Demon.
Come on.
Excuse you.
He's not a rodent. He just
Oh,
looks like
thank
one.
God, as long as he's not a rodent.
You should see him when he gets really scary. It's kind of awesome.
I saw him.
Oh, you did. That's right. That's right. There's a whole bat. That's right. Okay.
Okay, so are we bombing the void or what?
Oh yeah. Do
I-
you want us to take that portal thing?
If Stala can open it for you, or if the rude little gnome can
Laurelyn?
open it,
Yes.
then I would
Address the Queen Mother with respect.
advocate at least investigate what you're going to throw through.
Well, don't you think that Sala should probably go through some like debrief sessions? She said there's not a whole lot she remembers, so maybe we can get some people who can like, mind delve and stuff to help her out. And I'm sure Laurelyn can figure it out. She's real smart.
Yeah.
You've
Just a suggestion.
you've proven yourself capable enough to make that choice. Let me know when it's done. Don't make
I
me
have?
regret my choice.
Okay. Thanks.
Really riding high on that praise. Huh?
Yeah.
Not a lot of positive affirmation in the quick strike home.
I mean, I've never been allowed to decide to do something important before, so like, yeah. That's pretty big. Normally I try to do something that I think I'm allowed to do, and then I'm told I'm not allowed to do that, and then I do it anyway.
There's a
This
reason
time,
for that.
I'm given-
It's
Huh?
the constant mission.
Lauren's walking away. I'm done with
Yep.
this.
Yep.
Guy will join her.
Yep. Yep. Okay, let's go.
Y'all want to rest up at all before we go do this thing?
Oh, we can. Do we need to? I don't know how much was like. I don't remember how much we did.
I could roll some
Yeah,
hit die.
you could roll some hit. It would give me a chance to do a little identify on this orb, make sure your friend's on the level.
Sure,
think
I'd love if you
Haruto
could
would
get
will.
more info.
I think Haruto would take a rest. Him
Okay.
being a fighter and all.
You guys are gonna short rest it up then?
Yeah.
I
Won't
think
do
Kish
it.
probably would.
Yeah. I don't. Does he get key points back? Maybe.
Yes. Key points
think-
do come
yeah.
back on the short rest.
Well,
Yeah.
he has 0, so we're gonna short rest. I don't know if
Okay.
that's intentional or.
Let's
sold.
have your wizard level rounded. Okay, I'm gonna use Arcane Recovery.
'Kay.
Get my 4th level back.
Cool.
And then
All
I
right.
will pay 8, 7, 32, 39. Good enough.
Oh,
Mm.
not too shabby. That was for Haruto.
And I will attempt to ritual cast Identify just to try and confirm that what Stella was saying lines up with what I detect on the orb.
Cool.
Okay. So, Lauren, you've cast Identify many times. You're used to the kind of like rush of information that you get about the item you're identifying when you cast this spell. This time, in addition to this knowledge, your like vision kind of like blurs and fades for a moment. And as the information about the orb is flowing into your mind, you see. Give me a second here. So many things. You see this scene in front of you. And you see a figure, not the one pictured in the middle, but you see a figure that resembles the statue version of Talea. You see her working away on fashioning this small orb. You see her, like, it's not, you can't quite make it out, but it sounds like, crying, sobbing, yelling and shouting. It's almost like she's like pouring her emotions into this artifact. And you see this figure in the middle, almost encased in this purple crystal. Looks to be younger than Talea. Mature, but younger than Talea. And give me a perception check in this vision. 18. Through all the wailing and the screaming and the crying, you witness one exchange between Talea and this figure encased in this crystal. And the exchange says this.
So new merch in the merch store for Freyr, our priest
Yeah, I saw
from
that.
Just
I saw that.
Consequences.
The Freyr line.
Iconic quote.
Pretty cool background to it too.
Thanks. Yep.
You should make an ironic item. You should make something that just says no one dies, and just put it on a watch.
Yeah, exactly. Be sure to check out the merch store for some cool stuff.
Cool.
And then your vision returns to normal, and you find yourself with the knowledge that this is indeed a bomb of called Talea's Torment, and it, if detonated at its full charge, will destroy anything that Talea created or had a hand in creating.
Let's do it.
Talea's what? Talea's torment?
Torment. Yep.
So literally emotional damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
The personification of emotional damage.
So that was a doozy.
What was a doozy?
That spell. Yeah, so it is seemingly much your friend said.
Okay,
I also
that's
saw
good.
this person making it, and she was talking to her daughter. Does Talea have a daughter? And
No.
okay, well, my vision said she does. Agree to disagree.
Are you sure you saw Talea?
You're sure, like
Yes.
it matches the statue, like it looks exactly like Talea.
I mean, who's a wizard here?
She doesn't have a daughter. She's never had a daughter.
Okay, she
She's-
has a daughter. I don't know what to
She's
tell you.
really old. She has had a lot of time to
Yeah.
have a daughter.
I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of surprise daughters happening.
There's
You
Maury
got a
Povit
daughter.
pops
You
out.
got a daughter.
You are not the father.
Look,
I
it might be a
mean-
metaphorical daughter. I don't know. She just called her daughter.
I spent years studying for this place. There's no record of her ever having any kid.
If she has a
Oh.
daughter, and if Vermontosaur's the father, this kid's gonna be like crazy strong.
Oh, she mentioned him too, and she said she was hiding the daughter from him.
A lot of that going around
You
too.
shall
Yeah.
be lost to time, he said.
She locked Balthazar up like
Yeah.
Eons ago.
All right, why don't you go ahead and take the gun away from the messenger and let me
Just
finish
confused.
this. Look,
I feel like Laurelin is the best messenger ever. It's like, I'm just giving you the fucking message. Like, I don't know what more you want
Are
from me.
you sure it
Alright,
wasn't
that's
like an illusion trap or whatever that you guys put on things to like trick people? Are you sure it wasn't that?
definitely not that.
Definitely not that.
Arcana check, as I assure Emmy.
Yeah.
No, I think I.
Yeah. By virtue of like the identify spell and what it does, you think that in addition to like this thing storing all of the rage and torment that Talea had, this memory also is imprinted upon it. So you think it's just like an attribute of the item. Like,
It's just a memory. Emmy. What I heard Talea say was, "Fear not, my daughter. If I fail, no one will ever harm you, for you shall be lost to time. I hid you from Bermelthasar, but the world itself has become too unkind to ever let you leave this place." So that's just what she said.
Do you guys remember how long ago Stala said that she started working on it?
She said a long time.
Sola said that
Right, wasn't
Talea.
Stella in that crystal thing?
No.
No.
Sola said that she started working on that orb as a solution to Lillian Prime.
So
Ostensibly.
years ago.
Yeah, years ago. Like Consequences timeline, when Consequences and Finders basically snubbed Talea's request to go and confront Lillian Prime first.
What does this
So-
party think of Lillian Prime? Do we know that there is a Lillian Prime?
I have no idea who that is.
You only know by virtue of Stala kind of reminding Emmy that there seemed to be lots of this Lillian girl that Emmy knew as a kid.
Okay, we've never met Lillian, and this is kind of the first we've heard about her. Is that right? I
don't
have a lot of
recall.
characters, all right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
uh,
remember. I don't think Darkwind's
What was-
Darkwind hasn't met Lillian.
Okay.
Darkwind's
Emmy
met
has.
Eno. Emmy has, and Darkwind's met Eno Darren,
Sounds-
but doesn't know Eno Darren is Lillian's dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think Emmy knows that Emo Darren is Emmy's dad, or
Yes.
Yeah.
Lillian's dad, because we talked about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Emmy knows now. Emmy didn't know when
Yes.
you last spoke to Eno Darren.
Yes.
So are we checking this bomb? Seems to be what she said it was. I mean, if we think it's unsafe, we could just keep it and hope.
That's never gone wrong ever in the history of any
I
campaign.
mean, honestly, I never knew she had a daughter, so now I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to go.
But we're not going to meet the daughter
one of-
or whoever. We're
Oh no,
probably
that's
just
just
get rid of
me
this thing.
telling you that you told me some information about a place that I've spent like a third of my life studying, and now there's new information about that thing.
Did you just question, Spencer? Did you explain to everyone what the thing does after you did identify, or
I would share it all, yeah. I
okay.
mean, I was trying to confirm that it is what
Would
was
it
said,
be
and it sounds like it
to
is.
take it somewhere that has nothing touched by Talea and detonate it, and thus render it nothing?
But doesn't it still, if this thing is destroyed, everything linked to her dies, right? Even if it's not, or is it only if they're in the same plane?
If it detonates when fully charged, everything connected to Talea made will die.
Oh, like
Yeah.
regardless
Vicinity
of like
matters.
where it is in the
The
universe.
It's
explosion,
fully changed.
yeah, the explosion will have depending on where it physically explodes, but all the things that are connected to Talea will die.
What if
Wouldn't
we
that
blow it up
include?
when it's not charged?
But wouldn't her daughter technically be something she had a hand in creating?
For sure.
Let's light that fuse.
So we
So
want to
from
take it to the place that could kill this
So from-
daughter thing?
So from
person?
a metagame standpoint, does that mean like if we detonated it inside a bag of holding where nothing she's touched at, like everything would be fine?
No, because
No, it's like
she still touched those things. Like,
it's
the physical explosion of it
I
detonating
mean, it-
wouldn't hurt
it
anything.
crosses planes.
Yeah,
Is
correct.
that what you're saying?
Correct. The
like
physical
there's two effects, right?
explosion.
There's like a bomb, and then there's everything she's linked to depends on this thing.
Like the unraveling of
Right.
her magic?
Yep.
Then we can't afford to leave it anywhere, really.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I was saying like maybe we take it. Which is
Maybe
also
she
not
left
great.
something in her retreat space though that says like how to undo it or how to manage it.
I mean, it doesn't seem like she wants to undo it, right? But maybe.
I mean,
mean,
Talia was kind once.
What
Maybe.
happened? Sure. Well, what happens if we blow it up when it's not fully charged? Because you said
How do we-
everything linked
You mean,
to
like,
dies
break it
when
now?
it's fully charged. Yeah, like right now. Like, what if we blow it up in this puny state?
Thanks to Identify, there would be a large explosion, but it wouldn't destroy all the things Talea's touched.
So
But
can you guys? I
bad for
mean,
them still, possibly. Maybe. That seems like a good option, though.
isn't there a way for like magic-y people to like undo magic-y things?
Sometimes, depending on how strong it is.
Hmm.
This is like not a spell. This is a persistent artifact. Those are much harder to just get rid of.
I see. Okay.
So we're talking about potentially detonating this now while it's not at full power.
Rather you
It seems
not
like-
blow up the Citadel.
Blow it up in the void.
We got this. Trust us.
Still, it's time for your redemption.
Shh.
The portal, run and light it.
Well, don't we want to check it out first? I mean, we're gonna explode it in a place where this daughter person. You said it was a person?
She wouldn't just leave
I-
her locked up in her room. I doubt the daughter's there now.
That's what I'm like. I'm a little. That piece has got me really hung up because like, you're telling me that somebody exists that has literally never existed.
Maybe you don't know everything about the god. I don't know.
She's not a god.
So,
Why?
so, somewhere,
Is
somewhere,
she not a god?
No, she's a Fey
somewhere
Lord.
the echo of Thanwing starts
Oh.
crying.
Okay, well,
Hashtag not a god.
Maybe we don't just chuck it in somewhere and accidentally kill anybody before we scope it out. And if there's
I
nobody
mean-
there, then we can.
we'll check it out first. It was called the void, though, so I feel like we're okay. But sure.
I just don't want to accidentally kill anybody because I mean,
Just
Also,
on purpose. Yeah.
Is there anything preventing us from
Yes.
getting trapped in the void?
It's not satisfying if you don't know.
well, Stella said we could just reopen the portal, or that Laurelin could reopen the portal. Right?
Wait,
Talea would-
no, it's one way.
It's not
No.
one way, it's one destination,
Oh,
a fixed point. The portal works both ways. Otherwise,
do we know
Talea
how
could
to
never have
detonate
returned.
this thing?
I could like attack it a whole bunch.
I just think that detonating it would render it useless.
Uh,
Yeah,
Lor-
seems like we can't let
Laurelin.
it risk being charged detonating at some point in the future.
Yeah,
Better we
give me
just
an
blow it
give me
up
an
now.
Arcana check, Laurelin.
Detonate it without charging it specifically would be
Mhm.
good. No.
Well, we know that healing it charged it,
Yeah,
and
14.
damaging it shrunk it down.
Yeah, you think that in order to detonate it without charging it, like it's not meant to blow up when it's not charged. So either it would have to take a serious amount of damage. Yes, there is indeed a threshold. For it to break and that therefore explode at its current size. Would be your best guess with a 14.
Cool. I mean, that's doable. You can just hit it a bunch until it blows up.
Let's go check out this void space and
Yeah.
plan it out.
Okay.
Also, would like to point out that we're entering an unknown area, not at full resources.
Do you want to sleep on it before we go?
I mean, did you see anything dangerous in your vision?
The bomb, the Fey Lord, General Void. Nothing else. Maybe the daughter. I don't know.
She could have left like a
But we
guard
don't know that
monster.
the portal even goes to there. We don't know where it goes. I think Sky's right. We should figure out where. I'm okay if we want to rest before then.
An hour later, I'm good with either.
With either. I'm feeling pretty good.
Guess there's no rush, is there?
What time of
Focus.
day is it?
It's probably like pretty late afternoon by this point. You started out early. You had the like hike to from the original shrine to the Dryads. You like triple timed it to get to the Citadel. Fought your way here. Had the fight. Had the debrief with like Stala and Falcus. Did the quick exploration. Waited an hour to have the chat back and this planning session. So probably like, 6, 7 o'clock type deal.
Let's go to sleepy times.
All right. We'll do this in the morning.
Sounds good.
We'll set up some guards just in case any residual forces feel particularly ambitious. Should be safe though. Lots of the troops could use the rest as well.
Do you need help with anything?
We lost some on the way. Did you pass by that same route?
We found some guards in the bushes. They didn't make it, unfortunately.
We did save a Dragonborn out front, though. I didn't catch his name just in case. So, he's safe, though.
Secure any of the effects of the ones that fell.
Yep.
He just like holds out his hand.
Oh, I burned it. It was the orders.
Ah, I see.
Sorry.
None of the insignia or anything were left then.
Feel like we would have taken those?
I think you would have.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Here you go. There were 3, I think.
Yeah, you got 3. As he like opens up that like monstrous hand, you look in it, and it's, there's probably 20 or 30 of these like insignia already like in his hand.
Aw. Sorry, Dad.
There's always a price. And he goes and starts walking and like checking in on the troops, especially the injured. You see like Rowan like basically like passed out, looking like super tapped. Caro looks like barely bandaged himself and is, helping people who are like injured find beds and like places to rest. But you guys kind of settle in, find a space.
I'll spend 2 hours helping, and then settle in.
Okay. You guys, you spend some time like assisting lots of the Crucible troops, like know of you, even if they don't know you like personally. They like appreciate it. They're, a few of them are like, "You spent 6 years here? One day was enough for me." And you bring blankets and get people like situated. A few people are pretty injured, but you think like everyone who's here will probably make it. And after a couple hours, you grab your own bedroll and find a spot. And you guys can mark down a long rest.
Just spent some time starting to copy the detect magic spell from Emmy's friend's book.
Okay.
What?
Wizard things.
Wizard
Uh,
things.
All right.
Since
Oh,
we
go ahead.
woke up,
Yep.
would it be a prudent idea to take our bio right now and then that
Yep.
way
That's I
get it out of
was
the way?
thinking we were going to tackle that before you guys did whatever you were going to do, just so we don't have any impromptu bails in the middle of something, very boring. Nothing will happen. So we'll take our 5 here, guys. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. We get some snacks, drinks, bios, whatever we need, and we'll see you guys soon. One. And we're back. All right. So you guys have completed your long rest, feeling much more spry than you were the day before. Laurelyn has finished copying the detect magic spell into her spell book. What are you guys doing?
Sorry, is it the morning or are we still in the evening?
It's morning.
Morning. All right.
I'm looking at my spells. I might swap one or two out, but that's all I'm doing right now.
No worries.
Yeah, whenever you guys are ready, I'm good to head off to the void.
Ready.
That sounds very sinister.
It does.
Can I have Zoggy?
It sounds
Yeah.
awkward.
Is Zoggy a weasel still?
Zoggy's a weasel still. I don't want to spend money on making them something else right now.
All right. So you guys make your way back upstairs to the door that Sky closed the previous day. Having found and seen the steps Stella performed, you can open the door again with ease, should you choose.
I so choose.
All right.
Before we go in, Mage Armor on myself and Gift of Alacrity on Sky.
Nice.
All right. So, thus prepared, you open the door. Swings open. Same room, same sigils as before. You think, based on your understanding of this room, Laurelyn, you could perform the ritual that's meant to open the door.
All right, we doing this thing?
Heck yeah.
Let her rip.
Indeed.
It's just our crew here right now, right?
Mhm.
Cool. I start doing the thing.
All right. So, Laurelyn, you start like following this ritual that you kind of discerned from studying these runes the previous day. And it takes you the better part of like 30 minutes to like get through this. Some of again, like these runes, you recognize them all, but it's almost like, looking at something in like old English. Like there's times where you kind of like stumble over the incantation just because it's, constructed in a far more ancient way than you would expect, having looked at like similar runes recently during your lifetime. So after a time though, you see that the wall that you're looking at when you first open this door start to kind of like waver as this kind of arched, almost like iridescent bubble kind of like forms there, just kind of like suspended in the wall.
This guy
Okay.
spent the last half hour whittling something.
Nice. Give me a carpenter's check. Let's see what good it is.
All right, cool. It's gonna be a spider.
Ooh, tough. It's pretty good. There's like one of the legs got a little bit mangled, but like it is a quality spider carving.
I'll hand it over to Girl, saying, "You inspired this. Wait. You're the one who transforms into the spider, right?"
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Thank you, Sky. It is a very good likeness.
You are welcome.
All right. So, you have this kind of shimmering threshold in the wall now.
I'll go first.
Let's go.
Okay.
Did Stella come with us, or is it just us?
No,
No.
just us.
Okay.
Just you
For the
guys.
best.
Okay.
Yes.
So you guys all heading through?
Unless we need someone to light the fuse and stay behind. Tragically.
You're
Yep,
going through
heading
it too,
through.
girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so's Haruto, if that matters.
Yep. Kisha go. Ooh.
Ooh.
So you guys all kind of like plop through the portal behind you. The first thing catches your attention in this space is the vastness of nothing, like all around. you see these few little like jagged pathways and floating pieces of rock. But outside of these ones that you can see depicted here, as far as you can see, it's just this expansive nothing. Not darkness per se, just empty. It has this kind of strange glow to it. You see at the far end, kind of looking around this giant crystal in the middle of this room, what looks almost like a mirror with a liquid in it. Can I get perception checks from people? Emmy and Laurelyn, you guys just kind of as you kind of see coming through, Laurelyn, you probably still up on the steps to make this, reasonable from a vantage point perspective. Seeing around this crystal kind of looking at this almost like, think like bird bath kind of deal in terms of like visual. You see the Citadel. You see the Crucible troops walking around, handing to the wounded, making breakfast. You see the courtyard after a moment of the Citadel. People cleaning up the bodies of the centaur and dryads. The vantage point changes every few moments. Always looks like, from the scenery, important places within the Fae. You recognize many of them, not all of them, but you can tell it's the Fae from the ambient light, the sky that's depicted in the ones where it's outdoors. And seems like it just kind of like scrolls. But you see things moving and interacting on the other side. And Emmy with a 23, even from this distance, periodically you'll catch like a snippet of a conversation. The other thing that all of you notice is in the middle of this platform that you're on, there is this giant purple crystal. And everyone that rolled above a 10, sorry, Kish, you can see the outline of a humanoid figure within the crystal.
Is that
What
what
do they
you
look
saw?
like? Yeah, this is the place.
Can I
Hmm.
peer
What's
at the figure?
look like?
Peering at the figure,
Do I recognize him or her?
a minute. Man, it's gonna be tough to get what I need. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh.
Nothing to see here.
It moved.
Peering at the figure.
Oh, I know. Okay.
You
You couldn't click on it under the rock.
I couldn't click on it. Here, let me just do this. Boop. Okay.
Oh, that's something I saw.
Yeah. You
Is
see.
that the daughter?
Oh my god! Like, this is why we can't have nice things, guys. Struggle busting hard here. Okay, there we go. Did it. Okay.
Oh no.
Here. Give me a second. Give
She
me a
died
second.
Oh no.
Okay. Peering at the figure, Sky, it looks like that.
Is that the
Ooh.
thing I saw in the crystal? I saw it on the map here. Did I actually see it when I cast Identify?
Yeah. This is the figure you saw encased in that like purple crystal.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
one
that's what
Talea
that-
addressed as daughter.
Can I get a closer look and see if I recognize her from like anything that I know or have read?
Sure, like pressing your face up, like it looks like she's like encased in probably like at least 2 feet of this like crystal.
Oh dang.
But like pressing yourself up and like peering in, you certainly recognize, like, you studied for this mission. You know all about Talea. You knew all about Brumalthazar. She looks like she could be like a daughter, shares characteristics of like what they both looked like, but you've never heard of her.
She must be imprisoned here for a reason.
What did you hear?
For her. She said she was trying to hide her from Brumalthazar and that the world was too cruel to her, for her. Something like that.
It seems to me that if Talea put her there, then that's the most cruel thing of all.
Should we
Yes, she was worried about her being
Free?
harmed if she was freed.
harmed if she was freed? Well, should
Damn
we
it, I wish I'd prepared an
free
episode.
her? I mean, we do need a new Fae leader. Maybe she's nice.
I hesitate to
I'll
free
ignore
her.
that treason for now.
Wait, what? Treason? What? Why?
Because
Zoggy's
Zoggy is the
Fae leader.
favorite.
Oh. Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, Brumalthazar and Talea were the original. They created the Fae, so
Yeah, look at who her parents are. And what they ended up doing.
well. To be fair, Talea was a wonderful leader until
I have her orb
Brumalthazar
of
was killed.
emotional bomb.
He built
Not-
a
not-
I mean, that
Not to
was
mention
only in the past like few. I mean, we're talking like thousands and thousands and thousands of years of them in existence.
And you
I
think
mean,
she's not going to be angry about being like in a crystal for who
I didn't
knows
know
how
she
long.
existed. I can't possibly imagine what she's thinking or feeling or what even happened.
I think we should.
Scott,
just
I
let her
don't even know how old she is.
What was
I mean-
that, girl?
She could be 1,000 years old. She could be a couple hundred. She could be. I don't know.
It is also entirely possible that she could be dead.
Also true. Although I don't think Talea would kill her daughter. I don't know.
I have
I
a
don't
ball
know
that says
anymore.
otherwise.
He didn't think she had a daughter, so
Can I get
But yeah,
can I
you
get
have to
every
understand though, Talea was only like angry and frustrated for like the past like 10 years. Prior to the last 10 years, like I said, for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, she was a wonderful, well-beloved Fae leader.
So what are
Hey,
you
how
arguing
old are
right
you?
now?
I'm just trying to make sure that you understand she wasn't like this terrible. That's why they want to remember the good that she did.
I mean, how old are you? Hmm?
It has been my experience that feral animals make excellent pets until they don't.
She wasn't feral.
Can I get everyone to make a wisdom save, please?
Oh no.
Shit.
Right. Is this
Perfect.
a magical effect? Because I believe I've got advantage.
It's not a magical effect.
Oh,
Okay, 15.
Okay, so Grawl saves.
Boy.
Roll saves. Period.
Grawl saves. Period.
I
Great.
feel like we've done this before. He ended up like
Yeah. The
jumping across crystals with us.
the rest of you, here, in your minds, are you real?
Nope, just a dream.
I'll immediately respond back. Well, I think so. Are you real? Who are you?
Debbie's gonna be turned.
I am.
I'm used to people talking in my head.
Where did it go?
Super good.
It's like an everyday occurrence for me.
Sorry, guys. 1 second.
In real life, those people get put in a special room.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked in y'all's heads basically since you met me.
That is true. You have done that. My name is Silouan.
Who
And
are
I'll,
you,
and I'll like,
Sylvan?
yeah, Silouan.
What'd you say, Sky? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Who are you, Sylvan?
I am Talia's daughter.
Say what?
So Talia does have a daughter.
Since
Point to
when?
Laurelin.
And why are you encased in this crystal right now?
My mother hid me away from my father when he lost himself to madness.
That
How do you
was
feel about the position that you're in?
I understood hiding from Bermalthazar, but I would never choose captivity. I don't blame my mother. I understand why she did it. I have watched through the pool what has transpired.
how old are you exactly?
Suspect some 50 centuries or so.
Sure. Or so. How come no one knows about you?
Any who knew of my existence were sacrificed in order to keep me safe.
Cool start. Cool start.
It was
Ah,
at
Okay.
the mother hid me away at the beginning of the war with father.
The one from thousands of years ago?
Yes.
You've been here in Crystal.
Yes.
And you're calm?
There's no sense in being angry.
Insight.
Go for it.
So many questions.
You get the sense that she is being entirely honest with you. And you get with a 21, you think that it has to do with the fact that she has literally watched everything play out this entire time. She has seen everything that has happened.
To Leia taking him down, to all of the killing and the wars and the coup and the repairs and the. Got it.
She answers kind of sensing your quizzical, look. I watched my mother die. I heard of my father's death, felt her grief. There's no one left for me to be angry at. No one responsible for my captivity remains.
We came here to destroy this orb. How do you feel about that?
Ah. Perhaps the one thing I wish she had never created.
Do you know how to undo it?
There is a way.
Yay?
It is all of her grief, rage, sadness.
Hmm?
It can be neutralized by imparting to it her joy, her happiness, and her love.
How do we do that if she's not here?
We have
I have-
something she loved.
I have experienced all of those moments.
But wouldn't you lose it then?
No. It's not required for me to part with them, just to pass them to it.
Can I insight this?
This is suspicious as hell.
I know, right?
10.
Oh no.
Chronal shift.
Yay. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
14.
Yeah, you get the sense that Sky, you did some like wandering in the Fae for a time. You like heard about Talea and like Brumalthazar. They're like, you know, pillars of, you know, the history. The one of the things that was kind of like a cornerstone of like what they were was wise. They always had this like supernatural wisdom about them. And that was kind of like what made them special. They didn't have that same kind of frivolry that a lot of the other Fae denizens had. They were knowledgeable, somber, and wise. And you get the sense that this creature is very much their offspring and shares that kind of mindset. You'd think that, you know, a mortal in her position would be livid, furious, vengeful, but you get the sense that she's logically can process why her mom did what she did, doesn't like it, but there's no one left to be mad at. Her mom's gone, and she's telling you how to fix the thing that you asked.
Would Emmy, I guess if she's their daughter, would that also make her the sort of like same immortal kind of?
Oh yeah. You like nothing you've ever read would lead you to believe that like the offspring of two Fey Lords would be anything less than what they
A
were.
Fey Lord. Okay. So essentially she's been trapped for like a
5,000
drop in
years,
the
give or take.
bucket of
Yeah.
her life. So this is just like a timeout.
Yeah. Because Brumalthazar and Talea did their own thing for, you know, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years.
Yeah.
And then started being stewards of the Fae. And then, according to her, 5,000 years later or so, had her. And then she was hidden away when Brumalthazar was lost to corruption.
All right, so you want to put joy and good memories in this thing. Do we need to facilitate this somehow? Do you need us to get you out?
I would need
You-
to touch it.
Oh, oh, oh.
What if we just blow it up still? I mean, if we want to get rid of it, that will get rid of it.
What
we
happens
just blow it up?
after that? So if we do let you out and you do neutralize this, what do you do then? Where do you go? Do you stay
Suppo-
here?
There's nothing here. I suppose I
Yep,
would go
seeing
home.
that. Go home. What do you call home? Where is that?
The Fae.
No place in particular, just the entirety of the realm?
I suspect much has changed since I was last there.
Just a little bit.
From what
Considering
I
you can see it all in your mirror over there. Yeah.
from what I have seen, the state of things is tumultuous.
Uncertain. I don't know if it's tumultuous anymore. I mean, resolved, but just uncertain of a path forward, I think.
With nothing but this one's weasel on the throne.
I mean, Zagi is pretty. I mean, look at his face.
Respect the king.
Right. Does anybody here have any reason why we should not let her out? Besides the fact that she could, like, destroy the
Destroy us
thing,
all.
but yeah.
I actually believe her. So
So nobody's speaking against
Can
this.
we just come here to get rid of the thing? I don't know about this.
Grawl didn't get to hear anything, so Grawl's just like,
oh,
I'm
Oh,
assuming
why not?
that,
I still have
He-
my connection
He
with
passed
you.
the
I would
wisdom
agree-
save.
yeah, but I'm
I-
assuming that with a passive insight of 15, like I kind of know if this is going on in real time. I kind of know that.
Yeah.
But I would relay it. I would keep I still have the connection. I would have restarted the connection at the beginning of the day,
Cool.
as
Bro,
I do
you're
every day.
you're aware you're getting it secondhand from Emmy.
Got it. Okay.
This is Silouan?
Silouan.
If you do want to let Silouan out, I might be able to create space in the rock.
Considering she should be like an all-powerful Fey Lord, why can't she just get out on her own?
You can ask her.
I'm
Why
not
can't you
sure,
just
but
get
I
out?
assume if she could, she would have.
Maybe she's not all powerful, but very powerful.
More powerful than us.
True.
The crystal is made to not be broken from the inside.
Oh,
Quite fragile on the outside, but I am inside.
That sounds like a bad protective device.
doesn't it? I don't want you to get hurt, but I make the outside real fragile.
Do you
That's
think
how it shows up here.
we have many visitors here?
Well, there's 6 now. 7 with Zagi.
Do you think you would have made it if Mother was still alive?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And someone else was, I don't know, planning to come here. Yeah, I don't know. This is beyond the scope of what we talked about doing. Even if we let her out, what if we just destroy this little bomb first? How would you feel about that?
You destroy the artifact you possess now?
Yep.
The sadness would be released I suspect you would destroy it comparatively safely, but all of that grief, anguish, torment would still be released back into the world.
Even if we did it here?
An eternity of her sorrow, all of the loss one endures over countless years. I do not know what effect that will have, but if that is what you choose, I am in
Also-
no position to stop you.
If we detonate it and it gets rid of everything that Talea created, I believe Silowin would be one of those things.
We might be too.
If we detonate it, we can detonate it without charging it up, and then the creations are supposed to be okay.
I'm actually okay with letting her try it. It kind of sounds like the less risky option.
Sus.
I don't know. She seems genuine.
Girl? Sky?
Oof. This is tough. But Guy is a character and not knowing that there's all these giant big characters already out there. Yeah, I support letting her out.
From a strategic point of view, the best course of action would be to detonate the bomb, but leave her entombed. But I will go with whatever you suggest.
But if we detonate it with her entombed, won't it destroy her too?
I
No.
apologize. Detonate it without charging it.
Won't
It might
it's
destroy her
still a-
prison, but I'm sure she would be fine.
Oh, because it's still a bomb, guys. Like, right? Like it's gonna explode no matter what. If it's charged or
Maybe
not,
not.
it's still gonna explode,
Yeah, and she's a
Should we
Fey
not-
Lord. We're the ones who'll get hurt.
right? Though.
Should we not set it to explode and then send it drifting off of
Tuck
this
it into the void.
platform?
I don't know how it works. I don't know how this place
Mm.
works.
All right. If I tell Haruto to start hacking away, is everyone good with that?
I might be able to do something quicker. If
Just
you are
gonna-
interested.
Stand behind the crystal.
I'll move back a bit too.
Actually gonna hide.
From the explosion?
Sure am. If you guys are gonna start messing with it, I'm not being anywhere near you guys.
No, I think
Okay.
you're talking about hacking at the crystal, right?
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
okay. I thought you meant the. Yeah,
See,
you're not talking the
he
bomb,
meant
right?
the bomb. He meant the
Oh.
bomb, and I was like, nope.
I meant
talking
the
Yeah.
crystal.
Sky meant the
Yeah.
crystal. I think Grawl meant the bomb.
Yeah.
So
We're all meant the bomb. I was
We're all
like,
meant to-
nope.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
like, Ari, you're hiding behind the crystal that we're hacking at?
We're all definitely meant the crystal.
okay,
Great.
Sky and Grawl are wanting to make a plan to break the crystal.
Sky
Perfect.
figured it out. Or
I can help.
Okay, what's the crystal breaking plan?
Girl, you had a cool idea. What was it?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's cool. Grawl wants to wild shape into the form of a giant badger, which has a burrow speed.
Mhm.
He
Heck
wanted to see
yeah.
if he could like bring that to bear.
Sure.
that's silly.
I like that.
I love that.
I love it.
So you start like you shift into this badger and start like digging into the side of this crystal. You haven't
I can stand that
encountered
for 6 hours.
Yeah, you haven't encountered a crystal like this before in your like travels, but like from everything you know, crystals, especially like big gemstones, are like usually pretty hard. But what's weird is like as you like touch it and like your claws like sink into it and like you rend it pretty easily. And after 10 minutes or so, you've done quite the number on this quite the number on this crystal, and it begins to like shrink down. After, if you keep digging and keep tearing at this thing, until I'm assuming your premise until you get to the figure.
Yeah, and then dig wait for Sullivan to get out.
Okay. So yeah, you keep digging. When you start getting close, you start like, being a little more careful, making sure you don't like, dig into her. And after a few moments,
Oh no,
you
she fell through the hole.
you see Siluan kind of just like reach out from like around as you like free the space around one of her arms, and just like start like pulling away like crystal from around the side of her as she like lifts herself out of this crystal tomb, and kind
Is
of
she actually large like that?
yeah, she's big.
Okay.
Sweet.
This would be like akin to like the size of like Talea and Bermalthazar. Seeing her out
Well,
of this,
Talia when she's in her special Talia form, right? Because ordinarily she walks
Yeah.
around poverty like
Yeah.
the plead.
Yeah, their actual forms are large.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
pretty.
yeah, very pretty. Thank you so much
That's
for
horny.
the arts. You look at this figure, and you definitely see now, like, younger than the depictions of Talea, but still looks ancient, by comparison. Has that, like, almost like aura of experience that comes with having seen so much over such a long period of time. And she like slowly alights to the ground. I thank you for my freedom.
Here's the orb. Yes, I just handed over.
You see her like take it in her hand, larger than yours by a fair bit, Sky, but as she like holds it, you actually start to see like kind of tears like stream down her face. It is regrettable that this is what remains of my mother's legacy. Let us see if we can change that. I have seen much of Mother's life since I was secured here. If you have things that bring you joy and love, focus on them, that those memories may assist. There is so much pain and torment to offset. And you see her like lift the orb out like in front of her like two hands cupped underneath it as it kind of starts to float above her hands a few inches. And you see the pool in the distance start to show almost like a slideshow of moments from Talea's life. Many of them seem innocuous, random, looks like some type of joining ceremony between two fae. There's, visions of her, creating life, healing people in the fae. And you see all of these images just continually like wash over. And then you see images for the first time without that ambient fae light. you see images of her in a forest with children around her of non-Fey races, and hear laughter, and you see one child much larger than all the others. You see this green-skinned half orc, getting, all these other kids just kind of like swarming over them, and him getting angry, and Talia comforting him, and you just feel this warmth and joy kind of like wash out of this basin. You see time passes, and that large kid has become an adult, and you see him return to Leia, proud of the stag carried on his back. You see more kids, countless children that seem to be in her care. You see, looks like years later, a adventuring group similar to yours, come with looks like a half ogre who looks distraught, young, and Talia takes this half ogre and wipes away his tears and comforts and consoles him. And these memories continue to flow and pass. And what we're going to do is, if any of you guys have any particular memories, moments, things from your backstory, or things that have happened in game, you can send me a whisper, and we'll see how this plays out.
Sorry, to be a little more specific. So just memories, just
From
happy memories?
happy memories that like would bring Sky like joy, or things Sky loves, things he happy memories.
Okay.
Same for Grawl, same for Laurelin, same for Emmy. So you see the flow of images in the basin begin to slow, and they're more spaced out. And you start to see what looks like Siloan start to almost like not struggle, but like shake with the focus that's involved as she tries to purify this artifact and offset it with these positive memories. You see her kind of like quickly glance back to where you all are gathered. Her eyes locked first with Laurelin, and you see the basin kind of flicker for a moment, and you see a classroom filled with students and a young gnome at the head of the class, a ritual circle drawn on the floor around them. You see this young gnome girl finish an incantation, and this kind of initially dark, formless shape rises from the middle of the circle and lands on the ground on all fours as a charming little weasel. And you hear scattered applause from the room as the instructor looks on, nods approvingly. Her eyes then lock on Grawl, and you see two much younger looking Wimics, armed with spears, crouching low over a dune as they look down into a valley as two large scorpions contend with each other. A hunt with Grawl and his friend Bernu. And you see to his right another Wimic you don't recognize the name of. You see the next image of Grawl by himself with a old Wimic. It looks much more akin to how Grawl looks now and equipped in a similar fashion. You watch as the Wimic before Grawl changes into a small scorpion. You watch as Grawl goes through the motions of attempting a similar transformation, struggling several times before arriving at the correct shape, the correct size, proportions. You see the portal shift again as her eyes lock with Emmy. You see a young Emmy, probably no more than 8, playing games, laughing with Caro, Rowan, Stala, seeing her dad hiding in plain sight in front of her and having her try and do the same, making what would ultimately become her training part of a game, her normal play. You see her thrilled as she finds out that her closest friends have been assigned to the same training group. You see Emmy in her small room with a quiet knock on the door, and you hear what you recognize as Falcus's voice saying, "Good job today." You see a moment where Emmy has the realization for the first time that she can hone her psychic powers into weapons, make connections with people, and leverage that for her success within the Crucible. As her eyes lock with Sky, you see the basin shift once more, and you look to Sky wandering through the Fae as the Tabaxi wanders happily through a much more pleasant Fae than the one that you guys have just experienced. You see a great guardian Naga encounter Sky, and a pleasant exchange between the two as it helps him on his way. you see the moment, the joy, when Haruta was restored to life. You see the pure happiness of Sky seeing someone receive one of his wood carvings. Most heartfelt by the small children he gave them to in the desert at the very beginning of his adventuring days. And you see Sylvan bolstered by these intense memories with renewed focus kind of bear down, and the orb, which was originally this brownish green, almost kind of like a marble look, now is almost swirling with gold and silver and reds and yellows, looking almost like a kaleidoscope within this orb. And after another few moments, the basin goes clear, resets back to looking into the throne room of the Citadel as Siluan kind of rests her feet back on the ground. The orb settles in her hands. It's done. Thank you
Thing.
for
You're still
your-
there?
The orb's still there. It's in her hands.
How did we?
So what is that thing now?
Yeah.
It's potential. I feel it's only fitting that those who helped with its creation benefit from it.
What is it the potential for?
Potential for growth, for progress, for change. You see her kind of like extend the orb out towards where you guys are assembled. You have this almost like rainbowish light kind of like cascade out of the orb and kind of wash over you. There. As it should be. You guys,
Vibes. What kind of vibes are we getting from her though? Like, is it like?
don't-
Well, cause I feel like Emmy would have read about all the like, just being around Talia, you felt warm and kindness and like, so like what are we feeling like in this space? Like, is she exuding any type of energy or like?
it's calm. It's
Calm.
like serenity and calmness. It's like that. Whereas like Talea did exude almost like from what you've read, it's almost like she exuded happiness and like mirth. And like Brumalthazar had determination and drive and commitment. With her, it's like the intersection of those. Contentment. That things are okay. Things are fine. And that it's going to work out. That sense of contentment, normalcy, and peace.
Okay.
I like that.
As the light kind of fades from washing over you, you guys all feel like you would be a level stronger.
Hey.
Oh, I love that. That's like my favorite feeling. It's like better than happiness or
Holy shit.
satiated.
Cool.
It's the finest feeling in the land.
I was blowing my nose, so just to confirm, we're going up a level.
Yes, you are going
Okay,
up a level.
Why am I up
Is,
8?
is this the level where you get 3 feet so you don't have to make up your mind?
Yeah, it's that
no.
one, I think. I'm gonna pick 3 as well.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
I'm
only
like-
you only have to give up 2 to get
I'm
3.
not gonna level you. I don't want to level Kish, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a good call.
Yeah, they can level on their own time.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like toughness, medium armor master, telepathy. I got like good reasons to take all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I kinda want to take tough too.
But like the thing is though, is I
I know.
fucking hate taking toughness, man. It is such a
I know,
shit.
it's
feat.
like,
Like honestly, I'd almost rather be just dead. I'd almost rather my characters get smoked than take tough.
damn.
Like, here's an opportunity to do something extra cool. Here's hit points. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Where's
Grawl?
Grawl?
There's
There's
Grawl.
Grawl. Okay, hold on.
What are you doing, Brimson? Brimson?
Oh wait, do we reroll?
There we go.
once?
Ready.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Reroll it.
What are you ready for?
Reroll
What?
ones.
Oh,
What'd you do?
it's the average. I'll take it.
What'd you do?
Look at the map.
Oh
Problem
no!
solved.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, problems. Well, it depends. Can I roll like Spenny? Like if I roll like Spenny, then I go. But
Yeah.
okay, so up. Okay, cool. Doing some character mancing.
All right. I'm going to do a quick bow while you guys level. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Kay.
Oh boy, fucking rolling for hit points.
not even
So
all.
shitty.
Okay,
Oh, meat potato salad. Oh, there we go. Could've been
please 6. Damn it.
Oh, fucking.
Oh.
Oh
I've been
no!
lucky with lower ones rolls up until now. I've had like 3 6s. This is fair.
Laurelin gets hoofed right in the front butt.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take a feat.
Which feet to take?
Yeah.
Oh my god. See, telepathy is cool. Okay, now I do understand that we do have Emmy. I know we have access to Emmy. Telepathy
Okay.
is cool for druids because it allows them to communicate while they're in wild shape,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Prepares us for Emmy's inevitable betrayal.
And
No!
it also gives me a free, basically, detect thoughts, right? Which then I can then cast like whenever I want, and
Yeah.
it gives me and it's a half feat, so I can increase my charisma. Moderate armor master is good because it would increase my AC by 1, because it allows you to use up to +3 instead of +2, and I would no longer have disadvantage when I'm stealthing in my armor. So that one's good.
Ooh.
I like it. I like it.
Spell sniper.
Spell sniper is great.
What even are
Spell-
my spells though?
Spell sniper is great because not only does it increase the range of your spell, it gives you access to any spell, any cantrip in the game that you have to roll an attack for. And to me, that list is like massive, but yeah, it just goes right down to Eldritch Blast. It's like I don't even know why they say you can have any spell you can roll. It's like you can have Eldritch Blast.
You can take Eldritch Blast or something else if you already have it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Is-
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Spell Sniper. That's pretty on brand.
The other one that would be good for Grawl would be oh fuck, what is that spell?
Piercer, Poisoner. None of these are like good for me.
I might do skill expert. Just add to my expertise that I already have.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was thinking if I take skill expertise in perception, right? Then all of
Yeah.
a sudden my perception would be like ungodly.
Yeah.
I'd have like a passive of 21.
Right?
If I take Alert, I'll have a +12 initiative.
Oh.
What's his face? Tooth has a +10.
Damn.
Nice.
Good.
That's why Tooth typically goes first in combat.
That's pretty good. Now I gotta do Spell
Man, there's
Sniper.
just yeah, that one's good. I was also thinking, believe it or not, crossbow expert. Not that I use crossbows, but it basically you can make all of your ranged attacks in melee without disadvantage,
Yes,
like
that's
including
pretty good.
spells.
Crossbow Expert is very confusingly named, but very good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's right up there with Chill Touch and Dimension Door.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh God, now I
god!
have to pick spells.
But you're glad you didn't just yeet the bomb into the room now.
Yep.
I don't know. I still think it'd be kind of cool.
Dillowin, what do you think of that plan? I think it would be shitty.
Just think
she Zoggy to detonate it if we had to do it manually.
she would have watched her own demise coming.
Yeah, that would have been a punch in the.
Oh man. Okay, I need a spell.
What the shit do I take?
Ooh, Divination, eh?
I should probably just take something just for. I'm sure all of the things will be awesome. I'm gonna take telepathic. Fucking why not? Okay.
Oh, girl
there
can
we
get
go.
That feels like more of a girl thing anyway.
Telepathic.
Divination, the spell.
Yeah.
Feels right up your alley. I'm not gonna take that.
No, that'd be more of a me thing.
Yeah. Summon Greater Demon though.
Yeah, do it.
Stuff
Yeah,
like
that is 1,000,000% up your alley. Oh, next. I get a spell. It's gonna be awesome. I mean, I'll just pick whatever I want and change it anyway. Fuck. There we go. So after leveling, I'm rocking the 54 hit points. Fucking come bring that. Come get a taste
I
of
like
that.
51.
Yeah, I'm just marginally stronger than the wizard. All right. Stepping out, being lippy, getting my ass fucking handed to me. Doodle-doo. So,
Oh, I know what I gotta
spells.
take. Many options.
Yeah, I've got this really crazy something got borked with my spell list. It always seems to remember spells that I've had in the past that I no longer like have on my sheet. It's like, oh, I'll put those back on there for you. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Okay, I need a spell, and it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, man.
There's only a couple to choose from, so.
How's everyone doing?
Done.
Doing great.
Done, except
I'm-
I
yeah,
picked
I'm
the
done, I just
spells,
spells.
but, like, yeah, this is gonna
Yeah.
be a bit.
All right.
I took
You guys.
I did take telepathy.
Okay. You guys figure out your spells as you go. I'm gonna kick us back off. Take whatever time you need. If you need to swap them later, I'm not gonna break your legs.
Yeah, I can. I'm
You
allowed
can
to
do it whenever.
every morning.
Yeah. Silwyn looks to you all. Let that be the legacy you remember of my mother, not what she became by the end. Also, no.
Yeah.
Aaron.
If you ever want, I'll let you roll.
I agree 100%.
I'll let you roll taunt with your intelligence.
Roll what?
Intimidation.
I'll let you effectively roll intimidation as a taunt, but I'll let you use your intelligence instead of
Ooh.
charisma.
That's pretty
Good
fun.
news though, I am now actually stealthy. Hey,
You're finally a
There you
rogue.
I did it.
Oh, did you take the proficiency in stealth? Like, did you take expertise?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I'm glad
I was
you.
at a 4 and I'm at an 11. So
Yeah, it is a super baller fucking feat.
I'm glad you like the map baptized. It is from Patreon, 8-fold paper. Go check them out. They had quite a few maps.
baptized. I know the maps are so pretty.
All right. She looks to you, assembled. It has been a long time since I've been anywhere but here. But I think I'm ready to leave now.
Sure. Here's the thing. Nobody knows you exist, and I feel like if we were just to pop back in, you look a lot like your parents, and I don't want to alarm anybody, you know?
She's saying we'll go 5 minutes ahead and warm up the crowd.
Yeah, what she said.
Perhaps
How would we possibly warm up a crowd of people?
He has fire spells.
you
Just
see
like
her.
all in this
I can
spell
warm
book.
him up.
Is this less alarming? And she shows a visage much smaller than what she was. Looks like she could pass for a tiefling now. Not like a Feylord.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Could you maybe just let me get like a head start? Just to give like a
I do not know the
Intro.
way, so by all means.
Okay. Well, it's not like we can send us one at a time, huh?
I think
Boy.
there'll be any issues.
Sure.
You'll be fine, Emmy.
I'm sure it's fine.
So that monster that we saw was not real. Like, we're not actually fighting a monster.
Beholder.
I
Wow.
seriously expect her to come back for my character to see if she was fucking
No,
fight a monster.
that was Grawl saying he'd rather be dead than pick tough.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's the nanny meant to keep her in timeout. Yeah, no, I'm sure it's fine. Sure it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be great.
I mean,
Just-
it's gonna be okay. Calm down.
I mean, listen, there was just a massive coup where lots of people died, and we're just gonna waltz in with somebody that nobody knew existed.
Yeah, but the same person who's playing the new Baylord is also playing your father, so it's fine.
Eh.
Trevor.
I like it. Fourth wall. Shanna's like, you got this.
Same person. It's great. Cool, great. Then
Okay.
let's take you home.
I'm excited. It looks a lot different.
It sure does. Okay.
So you guys heading back through the
It's
portal?
gonna be fun.
Do I have the orb? Who has the orb now?
She
didn't
currently
we
is
leave it
holding
He
it.
has the
She
orb.
has the orb. Keeping it.
What is it? Is it still rainbowy?
Yeah, but it looks much like dimmer. Like it's that color now, but it's not like it's pulsing with that light anymore.
What are you gonna do with that?
I hadn't thought about that, to be honest. It's the last piece of my mother.
Could it maybe be used to restore things?
I
There's
think,
lots of damage, so
I think not. It is just a receptacle now.
for
Holds all of her pain and all of her joy. It is her legacy.
okay.
Probably keep it safe.
It makes
Sorry.
sense. That's a keepsake of your mother.
What was that? Did you say, Spenny?
Well, we said keep it safe, but also a keepsake.
Can you make it like I don't know, small? Like a necklace or something?
I mean, she's pretty big. It's probably already a necklace for her. Okay.
If I was not like this, it would be an appropriate size for that.
Oh.
It may be a bit large if I were to wear it, as I am now. I will put it away if that is.
Yeah.
Probably keep it hidden.
Everyone we're gonna go see thinks of that orb as a dangerous weapon.
I see. Yes. I saw what it was doing in its previous state.
Mhm.
So you're kind of
It's
just
just a
like,
bit skittish.
you see her just
know?
kind of like wave her hand over it, and it's gone from her hand.
Ooh, neat trick.
Thank you. Lead the way, I guess.
Okay. After you, Laurelyn?
Okay, let's go. We go.
All right. So you guys make your way back to the throne room makeshift, first aid tent for the crucible with Silouan in tow. Falcus is there. Found a
Pay my respects to King Zoggy.
straggler. What about the mission?
Super successful. And then some.
Out with it.
This is Talea's daughter.
What?
This will be Saki's representative, Stewart.
Stewart? This is Selwyn.
It is a
She's
honor to meet you. Lord Felkus, I believe it was. But yes.
she's been watching all of it.
Watching how? From where?
Crystal?
Which question are you answering?
Both.
Now I know why I started doing written debriefings with you.
Damn.
She was in a crystal watching from the crystal.
Where did
It
you
answers all questions.
Where did you find her?
In the void realm space thing that we went through.
See. And Selwyn, was it? You're aware of what has transpired? Watching? Yes, there was a basin that showed all of my parents' realm, including this place.
I intentionally left the Brumalthazar piece off, just for the record. She is just Talea's daughter.
You're Talea's daughter, then? Truly? Yes. And thank you. And get like insight checks from the party as Selwyn thanks Felkus.
I'm so sorry, Kish.
All right, so Emmy, you're the only person who notices and picks up on it, but you definitely see this like pang of regret and remorse on your dad's face as she thanks him. And Selwyn continues, I know it was not easy, but from what I've seen, you do what is right, even if it's not easy.
Get the speeder. Beesh it.
It is gotten.
Take that, speeder.
You guys kill spiders?
Savagely when they are in my space.
Oh,
I'm not, like-
let 'em live.
Yeah,
Let
I'm
'em
not
live so
bothered
long
by
that
them.
I don't have to kill other things.
Yeah, I'm not
I have
bothered by
limited-
them, but like, get out of my house.
Oh. We have a contract. You live if unseen.
What if he was
He-
coming over to try to pay rent? Like that's not very nice.
Yeah.
Nope. You die.
He Felkus like looks to kind of like looks around at the party at the other crucible, looks back to Silouan. If you saw, you know there was no other choice.
What?
He says that out loud.
What?
Um,
What?
I'm gonna Grawl is gonna cast Detect Thoughts using his newfound ability, which means he doesn't require any slots or material components, and just skim for surface thoughts of that particular conversation.
Yep. And Emmy, you're asking, what? Like out loud?
Yeah. Yep.
'Kay.
I'm looking at my dad though, not at her.
Yeah.
Rare to
I'm
hear him
cast-
apologize for anything.
I'm casting it on Falcus.
Yep. There's no save, right? It's just you get them.
No. Yeah, so surface thoughts I get for free. If I want
Yeah.
to dig deep and like interrogate him on something he's not thinking about,
Yeah.
then he has to make a saving throw. But I'm
Yeah.
not going there yet.
Okay. So, he like looks to you, Emmy, and says, I will always do what needs to be done. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
Grawl, as he like is answering Emmy's question, especially the like surface thoughts you get, it'd say like how prevalent they are. It's pretty specific because like this is like major like memory for him. You see a flash of this scene play out where Felkus strikes down Talea before she became corrupted.
So, just so I'm clear, there was a set of circumstances that Falcus thought it was appropriate to kill or attempt to kill Talia before she went bad.
From the flash that you see, it's like
Yeah.
as she was becoming bad. Like corrupted
That
bad.
transition
Yeah.
from like not just angry, but to like to full on
Yeah.
corrupted Baylord.
Yeah.
And did it look like in that flash? Do I get a sense of whether or not like Talia was like letting him do this?
No.
She was fighting him.
Yeah.
Got it.
You see
So
like
in this particular time period, Falcus is strong enough to beat a Phalord, you're saying. Okay.
So,
that's interesting. That's an
in
interesting little metagame nugget.
in the
That's
in
wild.
the vision, the way that you see this is it looks ritualistic. You see Talea in the middle of this set of stones. Looks very similar to the map you guys fought the Treants on.
Okay.
You see Talea bound, but you see no one else around Talea, as if like she did the binding herself.
Like a werewolf chaining himself to a fence, knowing that he's going to turn, kind of thing.
And you see this ethereal looking figure kind of like shimmer onto the scene. and it looks like Lillian Prime.
But oh fuck, man, I can't keep it straight. Does Grawl know who Lillian Prime is?
No,
No.
Does Grawl
No.
know any of the Lillians?
no, you've never met
So
any
Grawl
Lillians.
There's just this like
Yeah.
shimmering woman, girl,
Yeah.
waif.
Yeah, super like just like overflowing with power. Like just appears in front of Talea. And you see Talea, like you don't hear anything, but you like see Talea like egging this figure on. Like, come on then. This is what you wanted. Come get me. And you see the figure rush towards Talea. And just before the figure gets to Talea, you see the figure stop and have this sickening smile as she looks to her left and her right and draws these two curved swords and slashes through both of these bindings that have bound Talea. And you see Talea's face go like white with shock as this figure then looks to Talea. It's like, now you're mine. And you see this like ethereal form kind of start washing into Talea. And it's at that moment that you see Felkus and several other Crucible come like rushing into this kind of clearing. And you see Talea like lashing out with her hands with like the remnants of these chains, just like ripping Crucible people in half as Felkus makes his way through, and with what looks like probably 50 or more people all just piling on this seemingly somehow lessened Talea. Meta-wise, she totally shackled herself with magic bane stuff. Eventually manages to make his way to Talea and cut her down.
So are you just like determined to make Falcus and Tooth hate each other? Is that like your
No, I think, but that's like, it's a good thing though, right? I mean, because Lillian would have control of her the way she did Bermalthazar.
yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna listen in on his thoughts like for the next minute
Yeah, and
as he's conversing.
yeah. So his eyes turn back to Silouan, and Silouan looks back at him. It was the end that needed to happen. She would have sacrificed herself to stop her. But her plan was reckless. Would have ended everything had she failed. There is no fault with you. You see Felkus kind of like nod to acknowledgement. There's a bit of a sigh. All the surface thoughts for you, kind of, you see like flashes of Emmy, flashes of a boy, uh, flashes of a young girl, blonde, almost like white hair, uh, fighting against and with Emmy, people you would recognize as like Karo and a Dragonborn and Stala, but younger. And you see the thought like kind of roll across and out and back and forth in Falcus's mind of that girl, this blonde, almost like white haired girl, fighting with people that look to be like Crucible one moment, and then like the next moment you see her lying dead on the ground with like Falcus standing over her, as if like his thoughts are back and forth as to like what he could have or should have done.
So, like, out of character, then, Belkis doesn't understand that they're not one and the same.
Nope.
Got it.
Yeah, who's not one and the same? Sorry.
That the Lillian that he protected
Oh.
and trained and all this stuff is not Lillian Prime.
Is not
Yeah.
the Lillian that later killed,
Got it. That's
forced
what you
him
were
to kill
explaining.
Talea.
Okay, That's what,
Yeah.
that's what,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Thanks
So
for asking
he's
that
thinking-
clarifying question, because I thought he was talking about like Tooth's wife Lillian as a kid, and then
No.
he killed her
I think
as a kid.
I think he realizes that there are different versions of Lillian, but I think what he's saying is he thinks that if he had just taken out the young Lillian that he knew, that these older later versions wouldn't exist throughout time. I don't think he realizes that there's different versions of her.
Yeah.
Got it.
He doesn't know how it works. He just
Right.
knows
Yeah.
that there are obviously more, like that Consequences group told him that. He believed them. He saw the really powerful weird version that tried to take over and was in the process of taking over Talea. He seen the kid version. He's heard the Consequences crew talk about an adult version that had a kid of her own. So he's been told, but he's never seen, and he doesn't get how it works. So
He doesn't realize that the young one is not the same as the Prime, or that the young
Yeah.
one's not the
Yeah.
same as the adult version. That it's like
yeah, he
different
doesn't.
copies.
Yeah, from his perspective and his way of looking at the world is, I will make the hard choices to protect everything else, even if that means killing a kid. And he is, based on these like surface thoughts, regretting or questioning if he made the right choice,
Yeah.
8 years ago to not put Lillian down then.
Mm.
And that thought was front of mind because of what Silouan said, in that she would have ended everything. And that's everything that he cares about.
Got it. Got it.
What is it that you will do now? Silouan, I don't know. I never thought I would leave that place. I know much that has happened here. I know much from before I was taken there. This is my home. I have not known it for some time, but it is important to me.
Maybe, um, tossing out ideas here. Maybe we can assign another unit for a little bit as like council while she gets reacquainted, and then they need a leader, and she kind of knows the entire realm, so maybe she can form a council of sorts rather than just have like one person, because like that doesn't seem to be like ending well for them, you know. So maybe like a figurehead with like a council of people. I don't know. Just thinking out loud.
You see, like, Falcus look at you, look over at Silwyn. Would you act as the steward of this realm if you had assistance with the logistics while you got settled? I don't wish to lord over the Fae, but I would not see any harm come to it. I would serve as its protector, its shepherd.
Guardian.
What was that?
Guardian.
Yes, like guardian. Or a steward. One of the words that means someone who takes care of and protects.
We should ask King Zagi if he's okay with these ideas.
So you will allow Stewart.
Maybe with all of what she's seen, she can advise on new leadership or governance or council of some kind.
I could work with. She looks at Felkus, your people, to establish that. There is much about the Fae that your people, well intended as they are, do not understand.
Thanks for helping out. You guys know a lot, but like, got it a little wrong. Let me just help you out.
We can make this work, I'm sure. Well then, I will leave some in your service for the time being then, while you work to establish leadership. None of the denizens know who you are, and some consistency will probably help. Stala, Taro, Rowan. You see, like, the three of them kind of like run over. Stala, you know what's been happening here. Seems like whatever happened to your memories is the effect of that control is fading. Suspect you'll have your full memories back if the sages are correct within a day or two. And the denizens know you. Taro, Rowan, help Stala and Silouan with whatever they need. This mission, the stability of the Fae, is not over yet. But with Silouan's help, we may yet secure a victory here. Silouan nods. I look forward to it. Stala, Caro, and Rowan all kind of give the nod. I suspect you're curious about your assignment then.
Maybe.
Seems like you've found an effective group.
They're pretty great. Quite effective.
There is something that I've been wanting a team to check out. But I have been waiting for the right group. It is perhaps the furthest afield we've gone, and our resources and presence there is limited.
Where?
Is it to go up north and get a bounty of 60,000 platinum for this other crew?
There was a report from one of our distant scouts that made mention of great expansive ruins that had advanced machinery and technology, and then it didn't. The report makes little and less sense, but I trust the scout's veracity. We've not received another report, but that does not surprise me given the distance.
Where was this?
It's in the jungles off the coast of Rozoya.
And you want to assign us as a group to go?
I don't work for this guy.
I would send you and trust you to make your team.
You
We work for a living. Is there, something involved along those lines?
Well, we always get paid for every assignment.
Yes, that is true. And even without the official endorsement of your endeavors here, you were instrumental. You see him kind of reach under his cloak and pull out like a sack, and he tosses it towards you, Grawl.
Lucas.
I don't like do anything with it. Like I just sort of let it hit me in the chest and fall.
Okay, maybe I should have thrown it to the warrior. Uh,
What is the purpose of this mission? Is this still for some kind of life-changing event or world-saving cause?
So a lot of times, like our scouts and units and things will go and sort of keep tabs on areas of interest.
um,
So if I
um,
understand correctly, sorry.
the belief is that this ruin may be somehow connected to, Darren and his machinations.
I see. Okay.
See, areas of interest.
It was important to know. I have been away from my people for a long time, and it is uncertain if I will get back to them.
Where are your people?
They are in some kind of desert, and I am uncertain if they are not inside a what you would call a pocket dimension. I met these people. We went through a barrier.
You speak of the great desert to the west?
I believe so. We have been heading east, so I presume that is the one you refer to.
I'm familiar with a barrier around the desert. We have not had any luck penetrating it, but I will see if I have any news from my forces in that area.
I would be in your debt. Thank you.
Well, hopefully any debts can be squared with what's at your feet.
Guy will pick up some money.
There's 3,000 gold in the bag.
I'll figure that out later.
You've trained hard for this. You've performed well. You should be able to lead your own team, make your own choices.
I mean, that's if they want to go. I mean, they might have had some other to-do items before they met me. I never asked. Were you guys working on something before we got together?
You did.
That's
That's
kinda-
was extremely rude.
That's my bad. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. Were there some
We
like
were-
to-do items?
Oh, nothing
Never-
important. Girl's friend is trapped.
Is what?
Girl's friend is trapped somewhere. We were gonna go looking for him.
Yes, my friend Branu. However, he was one of the Wemek that you saw I was hunting scorpions with. I had reason to believe he was held prisoner under some giant tree, but it might be not true. This world seems very fluid, the way the events work.
This mission, if you accept it, is one of the most distant we've ever undertaken. The news from this comes from my superiors.
I will
Okay.
go.
Who's that?
Anything that thwarts this Eno Darn, I am interested in participating. He is
Everyone.
an honorless jackal.
That we agree.
What's the mission exactly?
Investigate the ruins. See if there is any advanced machines, artifacts, technology, especially if it has to do with any of this time fuckery. I've had encounters with one band of people traveling through time, and that was quite enough.
We've already
Oh,
been through time a bit as well. This is not
Where
our
those-
original time.
I screw with time all the time.
wait, this isn't your original time?
Don't think so? No.
Say what?
There has been several events recently, or recently say it's interesting term, where time has changed. We don't typically influence time, but we become
Right.
the products of time being influenced. I apologize, Laurelyn. I meant time
Thank you.
influenced on a large scale.
You guys
Yes.
are time travelers?
Yes.
That's
mean,
so cool.
I didn't come with them, but
But like, okay, mechanically or metagaming, we're not time travel. Like, we haven't done time travel,
I
right?
think we
I-
have.
I
Other
mean-
than crossing the barrier.
Crossing the barrier was the only time you guys have changed.
Yeah.
But when we came back, we didn't come back to our original time, did we?
Correct. So
No.
you switched when you came out of the barrier. When you came out of the
Yeah.
desert, that was the first shift for you guys. That was the only
And every
time
other-
travel.
didn't
And
we
every other
put
time
someone
thing that's
in
happened,
like?
it's in response to something else happening.
There was also a time we put some guy in like a portal or something and it aged him up like a century, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
You guys have forcibly aged other people. Yes.
good times.
When you were
That's
trying
so
to rescue
cool.
Scaly Dog.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I need
Who
to
by the
ask
way
you guys
you left with Eno Darren.
more questions.
Meh.
We left
Aw.
with Eno Darren.
You
Scaly
left
Dog.
Scaly Dog with Eno Darren.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we don't talk about Trevor. Fuck's sake.
Hey,
Talk about
wasn't that an Osteron? Wait, wasn't Eno Darren's time machine that had the like desiccated Scaly Dog who ultimately wanted to be euthanized in Oster? Oh,
Hey,
Trevor.
didn't we just
Don't
say we're
do
not
That was
that.
fucking
like
talking
a long time ago.
Fuck. Trevor, it's like every single game. And now we will go to the shitting on tooth portion of our evening.
Okay, so
Man, I really should ask you guys more questions. Time travel, that's really cool.
it's
I
not.
should ask more questions.
It's
Pretty cool.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
What's
it is.
not?
Every
Time travel?
time, every
Oh.
time they have messed with something, invariably we end up cleaning up much of their mess.
Are you still referring to that other group?
Sounds like they just suck.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that other group, man.
I believe our Groll has experienced multiple time changes that he remembers and the rest of us don't.
Yes, I seem to have this ability to recognize separate threads of time.
That is perhaps a blessing and a curse.
It's pretty awesome.
I feel like we would have addressed since consequences the change in the the Freyr situation.
Yeah. Um.
We'll do that later. It's fine.
Yeah.
You
Um.
guys would know that like Freyr. It's we'll get. It's fine.
Yeah.
Say what?
We'll tell you. It's fine.
I'll just do it now.
Okay.
So, totally on me. Forgot to do this at the start of the session because, things. I'm gonna blame cold meds. So, Grawl, you've experienced those like ripples before, and they've ranged from a pretty like sizable like force to like an epic knock you on your ass, like throw you across the room.
Yeah.
At the start of the session, you noticed that there was a what almost had the same like effect of this like wave kind of like washing across the area.
Oh, so I actually felt a bloop.
Yeah, but this one was like more like a gentle breeze.
Okay. Which is
The
probably why I didn't recognize it and bring it to everyone's attention.
yeah. In this, the rest of your memories, Grawl gets both sets, but your memories now, when you guys made it to Osteron and with Haruto's body, trying to get Haruto revived. And you stopped in at Darren's first. There was definitely more trepidation from Emmy knowing about Darren, because Emmy didn't know Darren before, other than he ran the order. But now Emmy knows that Darren is Lillian's dad, who is evil and wants to kill her, and that this little scared girl Lillian ran away and was confronted by time travelers in the middle of her training that wanted to take this girl back to save the girl's daughter from dying. And you met Freyr. And Freyr and this party of adventurers fought your dad in like a proving grounds type match. And your dad stood against 7 of them. You, true to form, got involved when you weren't meant to. And then the party chose to do something that hurt Lillian, who was under your dad's protection. Which
Whoa! Fucking whoa! Okay. Holy
Okay.
revisionist history, Batman.
Okay. So they did something that harmed Lillian. The
Yeah.
fight took a turn, and then there
Yeah.
was some
Unintentional, and it was one fucking guy.
reconciliation. There's
Yeah.
reconciliation. Yeah. So then we go to find this quote unquote drunken priest.
who you
it's
recognize
Freyr.
as Freyr, the
Right.
same person who ultimately ended the fight with
Blinded
your
me.
dad.
And sure.
Yeah, ended the fight with your dad, caused a lot of pain for you, did ultimately heal you.
True.
And you
Technically
see,
not as much pain as the half orc.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
you see that figure. The exchange is, instead of the like negotiating and like the super reluctance from Freyr and like the basically go fuck yourself, I don't have to do anything for you. It was more of the I'm cashing in that favor. And
I wonder what Casey
Okay.
would have to say about that.
I mean, he just thought of that before he fucking blighted Emmy and the 15-year-old kid. Here, have some necrosis. But it'll be fine. So you, the rest of that exchange is the same. The difference being, Emmy, I think Laurelyn, you had Zoggy spy on Felkus when he came over to talk with Emmy and Freyr the one night. The difference being that was because Emmy had mentioned that this Freyr guy knows Thanwyn, Felkus's missing son. But that conversation was different now because Felkus got more information about his son when consequences showed up in his training area. The conversation now is Emmy giving her dad the heads up that, like, hey, we're back in town. We got someone who's dead. We're going to go see a priest. It's that Freyr guy. He's been in town. And Felkus is like, yeah, we know. We've been keeping an eye on him. The rest of his party's gone. But, you know, he seems to still have some connection with Eno Darren.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're keeping an eye on it. So Laurelyn, you would have got that, but the rest of it played out the same. Caro and Rowan came over. You know, Grawl did his things.
Freyr still died.
Freyr still died. He still had that oath that he had at some point sworn to Eno Darren that he went against ultimately to bring Haruto back.
Okay. Cool.
But now it was a known quantity for Emmy, which I'm sure you would have relayed to the party. You know, this is one of those weird time traveling guys. So,
Okay.
So, like in this moment, I'd be like, yeah, he's talking about the Freyr's group people.
yeah.
And Grawl knows both sides of that thread.
Yeah, so you know what it was before, and now you know what Emmy's telling you it was now. Minor change, just that, like, you know, that dwarf that brought Haruto back was a known quantity in one of these time traveling adventurers.
Got it.
But Felkus's take is that the adventurers, while they mean well, generally leave messes that the Crucible has to clean up.
Got it.
And this mission, because it may have to do with technology and may have to do with time things and connected to Eno Darren, is kind of like the Crucible's top job right now. That's why it's not like Felkus's mission. It was like assigned to Felkus to like find someone to do it.
Like a specialty unit.
Got it.
Okay.
So that's
What do you
where we'll end, where you guys have some time to ponder how you'll respond to that mission request. We'll give Kish and Eric some time to get back and, you know, level up their characters and decide if they want to weigh in. But that's the that'll do it for tonight. Hope you guys had a good session. I know it wasn't a super heavy combat one. Probably good because all my combat's tuned for 6 players, not 4. And
We had 6.
yeah, you had
Harry
6.
and I would have played 2 characters like a
Yep.
machine.
How's Fire Fist going?
Yep. But yeah, so you guys got a bunch of the lore dump.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got the entirely optional recovery of Talea's daughter.
Leia has a
Yeah, we
daughter.
did good. Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck, I mean, big deal. Everyone's getting daughters these days.
Yeah. And yeah, no one died.
Yay!
So oh no. Pretty great. We are going
I
to
really appreciate Spencer's commentary throughout the sessions where it's like,
yeah.
this is real sus. We're gonna kill him.
Oh yeah, it's super good.
This is
Laurelin's
my
sound
I
is
love
like
it.
the cherry on this game Sunday for
It's
sure.
Yeah.
amazing. It's my favorite part. It's so good.
All right. So
Yeah.
Just
we're gonna
whispering at me at various points. We're gonna
Yeah,
kill your dad
also-
now.
Every single time Spencer made a comment about like treason and like Zoggy being the king or the prince of the Fae. Oh, I fucking loved it. It was
Yep.
so good.
All right, so we're back on Monday.
Yeah.
Uh,
Back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
we're good for Monday. Last I heard,
With
um,
visions.
for visions. So we'll see you guys then, and have a good night. We're raiding over to the Roll 20s, so send some love over there, and we'll see you next time.
Perfect.
That was fun. Good night, y'all.
I
Take care, everybody.